So in the business world, you have the business cycle. The market goes up, the market goes down, the market goes up, the market goes down, the market goes up. Okay? Overall, the trend of the market, if you're to take a line and trend out the averages, the trend of the market is to increase. Different things in Ecclesiastes that he talks about. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from this point is that if you are in God, your spiritual life, the church around you, the people around you, your family, your personal, professional growth, all of those things may go through cycles of up and down. But if you are in God, your trend is up. Forget what the other market is. If they're drawing a comparison to two markets. Here's what we do with churches. Okay. This church is coming down. So we jump out of this church and we say, oh, look, this other church is going up. This church is coming up. Okay. So you saw there's two lines on your handout. So they jump out of this church and they jump into this church, right? And they try to ride that up. But they're in a different market. They have to spend time learning and whatever. Well, they're never going to get to a point of expertise. They're never going to get to a point of where they know that. It's the same with families. You're tired of your family. You're tired of your life. You jump ship. You take something else that you're going to do. Well, you keep playing all this hopping around. You're never going to be stable anywhere. But let me show you what happens if you're stable. They say in the stock market. Let me not get ahead of myself. Okay. Well, we'll get there in a second. The natural human response is to jump ship when things are going down. And folks that jump ship from ministry to ministry to ministry, or folks that jump ship to family to family to family, or folks that jump ship from job to job to job, or folks that jump ship from volunteer organization to volunteer organization to volunteer organization, or folks that jump ship from business to business to business. I mean, if y'all have sat in my cash flow class, you know that I had 17 different businesses. I kept going from business to business to business. People keep jumping. Their trend line rarely changes, and sometimes their trend line goes down. So instead of getting these growths, they're either stagnating, but they think they're doing something because they're always riding the up wave, but they don't realize that they're actually not growing bottom line. Okay, so I'm going to... Can you grab me a napkin, please? Because I want to erase this. I want to get back to the regular cycle. When we jump around and jump around and jump around and jump around, we think we're moving up. But our trend line usually isn't moving up. The upward mobility that organization is experiencing, the upward mobility of that new business is experiencing. Get the soft ones back there, please. The upward mobility of whatever that business is, the upward mobility of a new relationship, any of those things. It looks like we're moving up, but we have to start all over. And by the time we understand how the new ministry works and what's really going on behind closed doors, now that ministry is crashing. Rest, some on boards and some on broken pieces of the ship. And so it came to pass that they all escaped safe to land. So when Paul had the vision and he told them, hey, everybody with me will live. Everybody who stayed with him lived. When the ship ran aground and the waves beat up the back of the boat, and everybody who could swim, they made it to land. That's why the Lord led Paul to have them all eat. I guess he knew they was going to need some strength, right? So they all made it to land. And those who couldn't swim, they were on boards. All of them, all 276 of them, made it safe to land because they stayed in the boat. And what we have to do is we have to understand that there are natural cycles of life, and we can't keep jumping from boat to boat to boat. We can't keep jumping from business to business to business to business. I did that. Y'all see my massive cash flow thing. You know I had those 17 different businesses. Jump from business to business to business. This is why you think that people are so enterprising and you think, how are they not super wealthy? Because they don't stay in the boat long enough to get to their destination. And God has put you in a ministry and He's given you a calling. And when things start to get a little rough, you say, oh, I'm jumping out of this ship. So things start to get a little rough. So you pull yourself out of the market. You pull your money out of the market. You get up out of that church. Your marriage gets a little difficult, so you pull yourself out of that and start finding other places to put your attention. That job gets on your nerves, and you've only been there for a year, but that job is on your nerves, so you're going to pull out of that and go find another job. That volunteer organization that God laid on your heart, they're getting on your nerves, so you're going to get out. They're going through a little storm. Maybe they have a little issue with their leadership. Oh, ain't nobody got time for this. You pull yourself out. That family that's been behind you all these years, they start getting a little uppity. They start getting a little frustrated. They start wanting some time for them. They start wanting some attention for them. Oh, I'm going to pull myself out. You jump into that business, you find out it's not easy money anymore. Oh, I'm going to pull myself out. Pull yourself out. And you think, because you save up your little money and you come back in when things start getting good again. It's not really supposed to line up with the trend line. You know, you think because you jump back in when things are good, you think you haven't lost anything. But I'm going to show you, you lose it. Let me show you this from the perspective of the business. So what I'm going to show you is a business tactic that you will learn about in any economics class. But what we are seeing here, we're going to translate that to the spiritual realm. Okay? So in economics, the stock market goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And it trends towards up. So you pull out your money because you see it's going down. You say, oh no, I'm not losing my money. Been there, done that. I've been through this before. I was here the last time there was a crash. I remember this before. I got those letters before. I'm not going to be a fool a second time. I understand what you're saying, but look at what happens in the market. You pull your money out. You got your big chunk of money that you pulled out, right? And you say, I'm going to save my little money. Every month I'm going to save my money. And when the market gets good, I'm going to jump back in. I'm going to put all my money and jump back in the market. Let me tell you why this doesn't work. Because if you stayed in the market and you put each of your little bubbles of money in the market, okay? Let me just draw these little bubbles. Every month, put some more money into the market. Okay? Here, the market is $10 for my one bubble. For every bubble at this level of the market, I get 10 shares. Okay? That's where the market is when I jumped out. That's where the market is when I jump back in, 10 shares. And I say, oh, well, I haven't lost anything. I'm still paying $10. I'm still getting 10 shares for my bubble of money. But here's where we lose out. Okay? When you're down here, for your bubble, you're not just getting 10 shares anymore. You're getting 12 shares. And by the time the market gets all the way down here, you might be getting 25 shares for your bubble. So when this person puts all their bubbles with their original money back together, it's like getting 10 each. But this person has been building up more and more and more shares the further and further down the market goes. So now, let's do another chart here, okay? This is just the value of money in your portfolio, okay? So now, when we get back up to 10, this person has, I don't know, let's say they had 100 here, and let's say that's a year. You know, sometimes it takes a good year for the dust to settle, right? Let's just call it another 120. So now they got 220 shares. But this person been investing, because they caught all these, you know, the market was on sale. They caught all these times where their bubbles went further because the market was so low. This person's probably got about 440 shares, okay? So when the market is going up now, Person A's portfolio is building up like that. Person B's portfolio is building up slower because they've got less and they've got less shares. Okay? So when you disengage from life because things get hard, you are losing out spiritually on an opportunity to build your account in heaven. And we build our account in heaven with prayer, with fasting, with assembling ourselves together, singing unto ourselves psalms and spiritual songs, serving the church. We build more equity in our account in heaven when we continue to stay in the ship when things aren't going the way we want them to go. When you get sick in your body and the doctor doesn't know what they can do, don't jump out the ship. Stay in the Lord. Stay in the Lord and build up that account in heaven. And when your body comes back to the health that it used to be, you will have so much more anointing. You will have so much more depth to your personality. You will have so much more of an account in heaven. That car accident that happened last year, it really did a doozy on my life and on my business and on my ministry. But it didn't change who I was. You had issues in a former job and you had to move around from here to there and here to there. It didn't change who you were. It just changed how you executed the place and the circumstances around you. Don't let the natural ups and downs of life, don't let the natural ebbs and flows of life, don't let the devil ruling principalities and powers and the cycles of life that comes with that deter you from making it to heaven. Because we are on a path to heaven. And if we keep going, life will be up and down, up and down, up and down. But one day we will make it to heaven. Prayer, fasting, spiritual songs, assembling ourselves together, serving the Lord. That's how we build an account in heaven. But it's about consistency. When we jump out and jump back in, jump out and jump back in, we lose spiritual ground.